We're talking about project management. Does anybody have any first guesses of what that's going to entail that hasn't been through the presentation before?
I know, but I don't remember anything.
Go ahead.
Managing projects.
Wow, okay. What do you think that entails? Go ahead, Gabe.
Like sorting everything into different subjects and basically making subgroups of those things.
Closer, Michael.
Basically managing and sorting how we're going to get everything done for the upcoming season.
Yeah, you're getting there. It deals a lot with prioritization of tasks and sorting into what we'll call stages of items that need to be done. We're going to go further into that. That's just a glossed overview. We're going to talk the basics about project management. There's a lot of things we're going to talk about, but there's a varying degrees of implementation of project management that if you go into any kind of workflow like part automation or manufacturing, if you're in corporate world, sales, they all have this kind of management workflow, but I don't know if my clicker works. Go ahead. Oh, okay, go back.
Lean?
There's a lot of software that does project management. They all do it in different ways. There's different implementations. You could throw a dart and pick one and they'll say they're the best. It is there's a wide set of opinions on what's the best. You'll see like Atlassian has bought Trello. They're actually Jira. Some people will, and Dan are familiar, I'm sure, with Jira and their software suite. I don't like them, but that's nonetheless, there's a bajillion different options. You can pick one and you'll find a whole boatload of things you don't like. And it's mainly because it's a different workflow. They each have their own version of that. When it comes to different pieces of software, they all follow the same methodology, and there's different implementations of project management. When you look at the 4 I've selected, there's a boatload of them you can pick out here. You can see a whole list of them here. But the ones that most people are going to be familiar with, that you'll see in the workplace in varying degrees, you're going to have a waterfall, agile, lean, and Kanban. Kanban is the most basic one that you can utilize when it comes to just literally making a list of things you need to do and just picking off the list. This is where you actually have the illustration of a queue, first in, first out, or first in, last out, depending on what you prioritize and how you decide to make your workflow run. You have the things that are ready to be worked on, but they're not in progress. You'll have your in progress and you're done. We're going to run more of the agile workflow, which we'll show in Shortcut. But just know that there's other implementations that you can go through, varying implementations. If you're doing something like building a robot, particularly like a robot frame, then you may take the approach of a waterfall, where it's very linear in the way it operates. So we might go through CADing it or having some open discussion, and you don't traverse back through the waterfall. You stay continuing forward. I'm going to gloss over a couple things here. So we're doing agile. So this is a very complicated diagram. This is an implementation of agile called Scrum. The whole idea is that you will have a Scrum Master, or a person who is in charge of prioritizing tasks, deciding who's going to be leading them, when it's going to be applied in your workflow. There is a concept of time in Scrum where you have iterations of tasks that need to be done. So does anybody have an idea of when our workflows, our time frames may look like during the season? We have a very limited number of them. Think of time, weeks. We have 6 weeks to build a robot. So we are going to split our entire build process into iterations by week. That allows us to properly assign tasks during that time and scout whether or not that's going to be enough time to complete a task, assign people. And something that I failed to explain in this diagram is there is a general task queue called a backlog. And that is something where if you have nothing to do, you're not necessarily going to look at the backlog. You're going to look at what's ready to be done. And if that's empty, it goes back to a backlog. And I explained that backwards. But the ideal situation is that your Scrum Master decides that a task needs to be completed in your iteration, and we'll move that forward into ready to be done, or your to-do column, which that's what we call it. When it's in the to-do column, anybody can pick a task off of it if it's not limited. Some tasks are, like if they're CAD. Programming, don't pick that up. But anybody can pick up a task, put it in progress, and then it just goes down the pipeline. You complete a task, you identify your blockers if you have any beforehand, and you iterate with your mentor or your Scrum Master. For our scenario specifically, we have project management leads in each group, so you may have to work with them instead of your Scrum Master. This is the workflow I briefly described and glossed over. But we have backlog, to do, in progress, in review, and done. We may remove the in review stage in a workflow. That is mainly for things that require mentor review. It could be peer review. We'll likely detail that in your specific story or task that's been assigned inside of Shortcut. So anything gray, that is things that we need to do or they're ready to be done, hence backlog and to do. We have in progress and in review, which are things we're doing now, and then done, which are things we've done or completed. We utilize the done column in something called a retrospective, which is a way to look back on things that we have completed and decide whether or not that we allocated enough time to it, or if we missed assignments, or if there were some unexpected delays, which we'll call dependencies. We'll attach them as links, and I'll show you that in the next couple slides. Ready when you are. So this is an introduction to Shortcut. Go ahead and go to the next slide because I don't have my notes for that. This is the interface of Shortcut. Each column here, it represents the workflow that we just saw before, which is a backlog, to do, in progress, in review, and complete. The sidebar is going to be where your teams are going to be listed. You will only see your teams. If you want to snoop around and see other teams, you can click these three dots here next to your team title, and you can view the full list of all the other teams, and you can add them to your sidebar so you can look at everybody else's work. Otherwise, you can click on all work and view all stories that you're eligible to work on. Go ahead and hit the next slide. Kick back past that. Keep going. Keep going. Now, if the columns don't work for you, you can change your view in the boxes over there, and you can switch to a table view, which allows you to see a list of tasks and all the related information to them grouped into separate tables. This may be something that you'll see your project management lead using because it tends to be just easier to iterate over the information that you have versus dragging and dropping cards. Go ahead. If you need to find a specific task, there's multiple ways you can filter and add information to a card. So you can use the filtering options. In this case, we're in our mechanical subteam under stories, and then we have a filter here for mechanical, and you can add a filter for anything you're looking for. So if you're looking for something that is in this iteration or potentially the next iteration, you can add that iteration filter here, and you can choose the iteration going in the future. If you're looking for something more specific, we may have labels and tags set up for specific things. You can click on those and find those. Otherwise, what you'll most likely run into are going to be epics and story types, where you can filter them down based on that. Good. I don't remember what the notes on this one is supposed to be. Go ahead. So this is what a card or story looks like. Everything you'll see here, these are mainly called stories, but you can call them cards, to-dos, items. They're all interchangeable words for the same thing. Go ahead and hit next, because I don't know where I was leading with this one. So this up in the top area is going to be the description and tasks. At any point, you can either click on the literal buttons that says edit description, or you can just click on the text and open up the editor. From there, you can punch in anything from attachments, being files and pictures. You can add links to external. You can also use a pound sign and a number to link to another story that also exists. In the task area, you can create tasks, and then when you hover your mouse over it, over on this side, you'll see 3 buttons that pop up. One will be to assign a person, create a new story out of it, or more options, which allows you to delete it or duplicate it. Those items, when you add them, the screenshot's not up to date, but on the table in the background, you would actually see 1 of 4, since there's 1 here that's checked out of the 4 items. When you split the item out, it deletes it. So just as a future note in case you do that. Go to next. This is kind of a redundant area because, like we said before, you can attach attachments, you can add links, and you can link to other stories. This is a more explicit area where you can say, I want to add a relationship to another story. You want to add external links or files. Go to next. And then this is your comment area. This is open for everyone to add their own commentary. So you can add attachments, links to other shortcut tasks that you have there. The difference between this area and the description is this will have a full storyboard of comments back and forth, and this is going to be attached to everyone. Everyone can edit your description. As a future note, there is a log of it down here in the activity, but it's best to use the comment area so we clearly understand who said what in the conversation if there was a decision that was made about a task. On the side, the right-hand side, you'll see a multitude of data values. So I'm going to just pivot on this side here so I can point it out. But you'll have your team, your workflow, and your state. So your team is going to be your sub-team. This is going to be assigned to your user. We'll show that in the next slide. You'll have your workflow, which is always going to be team. There's never going to be a different workflow for you guys. And then state, which is our to-do, in progress, backlog, done, complete, or done, or in review. And the last thing is not the last thing, but the mechanical one is under the epic. That will not be mechanical. They're going to be set out for build season, off season, dual the Delaware. Those are going to be the overarching projects we're working on. Under iteration, you will set the literal iteration of when it needs to be done. If you are setting something up if you're setting something up now that needs to be done in the season, you will select epic as build season, iteration as January. That again is about scheduling when things need to be complete. So if you're doing something now and it needs to be done this week, you're going to select this week's iteration. Under the type, you can choose a feature, bug, or I believe feedback is the other type. That's just a way to sort information, whether that's something that came back from Drive Team as feedback to mechanical, or if it's some brand new idea that we had that we want to try out. Those are generally just falling all under features because we don't filter that far down. But it's something if you have the time to fill out, you can. Under requester and owner, those are both fields of tagging people. So anybody who's creating the task will automatically set as the owner or as the requester, and anybody who moves it in progress automatically gets set as the owner. You can have multiple owners, so if you're working with a buddy, set them as the owner as well, just so credit is given. Hit the next slide, please. And this bottom area is about timelines and points. Points are a way to value how much effort or time is required to complete the task. If there is a estimate of a 1 point, then that's assumed it can be completed in one event or one team meeting. If it's of 3 points, it's assumed it can be completed in 3 team meetings. We may revise that of how the point system works, but generally we're just going to deal with 1 point equals 1 meeting. Due date is exactly what it is. We try to set the accurate due dates. They have to be within iteration. And if there's an issue that arises, you're going to experience delays, talk to your project management lead or whoever's leading the whole project management team, and we can make the appropriate adjustments on the due dates. And these are not just to say, hey, we're getting behind. It's to project what downstream things are going to be affected by your delays or delays you're experiencing. And followers, those are going to be anybody who's just wanting to see what's going on and see the comment thread, status changes, just anybody who wants to be nosy. And the last thing is your custom fields. This is priorities. They're not always going to be just priority. Under edit, you can change what fields we're going to have. That could be specialties. It could be requires. parental observation, like a mentor or something like that. Those are things that we can configure and change. Go next. Now, if you haven't done so, a couple of you have already said you're not in Shortcut. If you can take out your devices and scan this, again, some of you probably already are in there. Everyone should be in this program. That means CAD as well. Not to call anybody out.
You said you have to.
You have to be in Shortcut.
You just said you have to have this.
Oh, no, just a Rickroll.
Yeah.
The passwords are your own. I cannot reset them. So if you don't know it, I can't help you. Just do a password reset. Good, hit next. When you get through the login page and you've confirmed your email, you'll get a page like this. Don't join every team. That's not going to help you. Join only your team that makes sense. I don't know why LUNATECS here, that shouldn't be here. But all the other ones you can join. So whatever sub-team or your secondary sub-team, select them and join that team. That appropriately assigns you, so if there's a task that needs to be done, we can identify who can do it. Hit next. If you are on mobile, it may be a little bit difficult, but on desktop you may have this button that says try the new stories page. This should be the default, but if you're not seeing that, there's a button for it. Just to call out. And in case you are like me and get a bunch of emails, go to your user profile, hit settings, notifications, and change it to important events only. Otherwise, you will get a barrage of emails about new tasks that have been added for your sub-team, or somebody moving your task into done. By changing this into important events only, it'll be anything that's been assigned to you, or new comments on your stories, or anybody tagging you. Good. Is there another slide? If you're trying to find a task or find something that is older, something in the past, you can use the search bar and you can use the activity button. On that side, there's a search bar as well as the option to create a new story. And over here is the activity bar. I don't think I have a screenshot for this, but if you hit next, let's see, I don't. That activity bar, if you click it, it'll show you a list of like a timeline like you'd find on Facebook of like everything everybody's doing. And you can find all the tasks that have been changed or updated or moved. Okay, I got it. This is story points. As we said before, it's on a scale that's based on how many meetings it's going to take. This is now, I believe, 2 years going to be. It's 2024 year. So this is everything that's related to how many points we've burned through in a set time frame. So in this case, we burned through the colors based on the type. So in this case, it's a feature, a bug, a chore, and then the 4-week trailing average is just a green line. You don't have to worry about that. This, again, is based on the story points, so how many meetings it's going to take to complete a task. This is everyone working in parallel using Shortcut, so this is not a single person doing it. Any questions on this chart before we move on? Cool. Updating stories. There's countless times where programming is doing something and it requires hardware or mechanical to finish their thing, and mechanical requires CAD to finish their thing. It's a lot of finger pointing. It's really hard to keep track of who's doing what and what's holding programming up, because programming holds everybody up. So to do that, under this area where it says add to story, you click relationship, and you can add other stories to your story. And your story says that you're blocked by a post design by CAD. And then you can also see that this is related to 2 other stories. It just refers to it, but it's not blocked by it. So when your project management lead is looking at tasks, they can say, well, this one is not completed because they're waiting on CAD. So, go ahead. Oh, I guess I cut a slide short. Okay. Any questions on what we reviewed today?
Is that it?
That's it. I changed it from last year's. No questions? Gabe, no questions?
So, like, you addressed some of the interdependencies going into the stories.
Mm-hmm.
When you're creating a story for the first time, if there are known interdependencies, would you log those in the story?
Yeah. So if you're creating a new task and you don't know are you referring to the prior prerequisites to that task? Is that what you're referring to? Yeah. So if you don't have your prerequisites available to add in there, you can make a comment tagging the appropriate project management lead. If they haven't put theirs in, that's the main thing, is they're supposed to be putting your tasks in for you, and you will pull off of the to do or ready to complete task or queue. Go ahead, Gabe.
I have 2 questions. One, what's a requisite?
A requisite is, yes, that's like what is required before your task can be put in progress.
Alright.
So what prevents you or blocks you from doing that task?
And also, let's say somebody adds, let's say electrical adds the relationship that's being blocked to my mechanical because they can't do something. Will you get emails for that, like if you're a mechanical student, because they added that relationship to the
That's all depending on your notification settings. So, but it should be led by your project management lead to talk and communicate that there is that blocker. When we have our project management week, is it Wednesdays? Where's Nate? I guess Nate's not here. I think it's supposed to be on Wednesdays. It might be changing to during meetings that we're going to have that conversation. But your project management lead should express that electrical is being blocked by mechanical, and mechanical is blocking, programming. So it's all the interdependency, that conversation that we're going to have beforehand to say, okay, this needs to be done. Can we do something else in the meantime? Any other questions? All right, well then that's it.